All right. So the talk itself is based on a feature topic that we had at Organizational Research Methods earlier this year. So if you look at the April issue this year, you will see a feature topic on qualitative, so templates in qualitative research methods. And this consists of 8 fantastic papers that basically look at how templates have come to be used, what some of the potential challenges are in template use, but also developing ways forward, so alternatives with templates, so that you can actually have a bit of an alternative, have a bit of an idea how you would approach this in your respective qualitative research project. The background behind the feature topic for us was really that we wanted to pick up that trend that we've seen in a lot of publications in some of the more substantive journals, namely that there were a lot of templates that were being used in a very kind of formulaic way. So they were used without being adapted. And we saw a bit of a concern because qualitative research methods are really quite pluralistic. So there are a lot of them. There are a lot of adaptations to them. And that provides the field usually with richness in terms of what we can do methodologically. So focusing just on a small number of templates to use limits potentially what we can find, what we can do with our qualitative data, and then of course subsequently the theorizing that we can derive from our data. So that's kind of why we wanted to explore what template use exists, where it comes from, and what consequences it has for the way that we do research. So if you haven't checked out the feature topic, I'd encourage you to do so. And in this presentation, I'm going to do a bit of a summary for what this all means going forward. So let me define templates so that we all know kind of what we're talking about. So templates, as we define in our paper, are systematic, simplified, and repeatable approaches to data collection, analysis, and interpretation. And they've become standardized and legitimized through enactment. So that means through repeated publication, especially when they're published in top-ranked journals. And they're basically also legitimized through the normative pressures from gatekeepers. And so this can be reviewers, co-authors, editors, so the kind of people that make decisions about whether or not the research gets published. So what that means practically is that basically whenever we're following more or less just what somebody else has done or what somebody else has suggested in terms of data analysis without really thinking about if it applies to our respective data, to our respective context, our sample, then that's a template use. So if in your chosen approach is quite frequently that whenever you start a qualitative research project, that you go out and look for an example study that you can follow from start to finish, and you do the same as they did, that would be template use. Now that isn't always bad, but quite often it doesn't maybe suit your particular research as well as it could. So what we've seen and what Harley and Cornelissen describe in their paper in the feature topic is that these templates are quite frequently used as a proxy for rigor. So basically the idea of if I follow somebody else's steps and I basically can say, well, so-and-so did the same thing, then somehow that will appear more rigorous and more acceptable to the reader or to the reviewer if you're submitting it for publication. So what my co-guest editors and my co-authors on the paper, on our paper in the feature topic, wanted to do first and foremost is to do a bit of an analysis of why people use templates. So why do authors use templates to conceptualize their qualitative work, to conduct it, but also to write about it? And so we did an empirical study, conducted an empirical study, and interviewed 21 authors who had recently published qualitative work in top journals and who also used templates in that process. We also interviewed more senior scholars, qualitative scholars, to get at the perceptions of the paper publishing process and template use in the field. And so in particular, we wanted to interview them about experiences in conducting, writing up qualitative research, but then also in the publication process itself. And so I'm going to start out with those motivations before I move over to what some of the challenges are. And so I'll define some of the key tensions that we saw in our data.